Oh, I'm sore as shit and I lost my job after not coming in. Let's do this. After I woke up the next day, I left the guest room smelling and feeling awful. I soon came to realize that it wasn't me that smelled terrible, but some of my buddies. I didn't think they would actually do this. I figured I would end up going it alone and dying the moment I tried something. But there were a good 8 entities or so, including Jeff, Terry, and Jacob. I recognized one as the Doctor, SCP-049, not the Doctor from Doctor Who. I realize I probably shouldn't have to explain that, but with what I experience, I figured I should elaborate. So that's 4 down. Who were the other 4, though? Well, one was a 6-foot-tall buff white dude with blonde hair and nothing but a Speedo on. Another looked like your average skinwalker. Nothing like Jacob, just a normal one. 6 down, 2 to go. One appeared to be some kind of rake tamer, as it held 2 of the things on leashes. I couldn't give you a physical description of the guy. The only reason why is because any time I looked away from him, my memory just came up with a blur. Like when you turn a camera really fast, right as you're taking a picture. Never for anything else in my memory. Just him. The last thing, I don't even know how to describe her. It's not like with the other guy. She was just so beautiful. I don't think I could capture her beauty in words. So I'll just say, think of the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Not sexy, but beautiful. Next, try to multiply that beauty by 1,000,000. You can't quite imagine it. That's the point. Literally unimaginably beautiful. If you could imagine it, try again. If that didn't work, you probably aren't human, or just have a really bad imagination. As I was gazing at the very beautiful woman, Jeff came up to me. "What are you looking at?" I stammered. "Nothing. What are you looking at?" "Why is it so hot in here?" He chuckled. "Look, I was talking to Terry last night. He convinced me to help you get your revenge arc going." Those were his exact words. "Fucking weeb," Jeff responded. "Well, what about your job? Murder may be a messed up profession and hobby, but won't it be hard for you?" "First of all, that's what she said. Secondly, I should explain why I even got into killing to begin with. When I killed for the first time, I got a rush unlike anything. It was so satisfying to be able to control when someone lives or dies. But I've been doing it so consistently for so long, I just don't get the same high off of it. I only really still do it for the money. But now I have so much money, it isn't worth doing anymore. Seriously, I'm like the Bill Gates of contract killing. Honestly, I've been considering quitting for a while now. You and Terry are reason enough to put an end to all of this, even if it is only temporary." "Terry and I?" I asked under my breath. "What was that?" "Oh, I was just gonna ask who all these guys are since you brought up the killing." "These guys and girls are my friends, except the Doctor. That's Terry's friend. Never met the guy until last night. Anyway, the man in the Speedos is named Chad. Before you ask, that is his real name, and he isn't a normal human. He's one of the strongest guys I know. Hell, he'd even have Chuck Norris cowering in fear. The guy with the rakes, his name is Smudge, for obvious reasons. He's pretty great at illusion stuff. The skinwalker over there, her name's Rachel." I cut him off. Wait, there are female skinwalkers?" "Yeah, why wouldn't there be?" "It just doesn't sound right, I guess." "Well, men tend to have more aggressive personalities by nature, which is why male skinwalkers are more common. They're the most likely to fall prey to darkness. Anyway, as I was saying, she may appear to be a normal skinwalker, or rather what you perceive to be a normal skinwalker, but she is what you may call an alchemist. She's great with poisons and all that. Finally, I saved the best till last. I'm sure you've noticed the amazingly beautiful woman by now." He made a facial expression like he was trying to wink at me. I guess it's hard to wink without eyelids. "Her name is Megami. She's practically a siren with some terrifying abilities. Whatever you do, do not flirt with her." "Is that all?" I asked, kind of surprised that this was all we had. By the sounds of it, this was going to be a job for an army of paranormal shit. Then there would be this huge fight scene where I would end up finding out I had some kind of special ability hidden within me this whole time. Then everyone would cheer, "Hooray for Joseph!" Something like that. I swear, whenever I talk to you or Terry about battle, you guys get giddy like a couple of geeks who just met Stanley at Comic-Con. Terry came around the corner out of the kitchen. I heard my name. What are you saying about me this time? I responded while Jeff just stood there. He was saying anytime he brings up fights, we act like a couple of nerds who just met their favorite voice actor. That's not what I said at all! Yeah, but your joke was in bad taste, I remarked. So, is this really all there is? No, I have one more friend coming. As much as it sounds like a trope, he's likely going to be the strongest one here, Terry responded. What, is he going to be some ancient knight clad in shining armor, or... I was cut off by the door swinging open and slamming against the wall. The only issue with that is the hinges are only supposed to open the door halfway. What stood in the doorway, I shit you not, was the Headless Horseman. From all those old tales of a man with no head riding a horse into dawn. Yeah, the Headless Horseman. He was carrying what I assumed to be his own head in his left arm. I assume this for two reasons. One, it was wearing a black helmet that matched the exact color of his armor. Two, there was zero blood anywhere on his armor, and the head wasn't leaking any blood. I was the only one to say anything at first. What the actual fuck? Okay, I can handle all of this paranormal shit from relatively recent years being real. Even Chad I can handle, but the Headless If you call me the Headless Horseman, I swear I will kill you. My name is Abraham Brunt. But you may call me Abraham. But, Abraham, why exactly are you wearing armor? You died in the Revolutionary War, didn't you? He started cackling. Oh, no. I'm not that poor boy who lost his head in the war. I'm one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I was terrified after he said that. Then Terry interjected. He's just insecure about losing his head in the war. He's fucking with you. He's the normal Headless Horseman. Then, out of nowhere, Abraham's voice changed to its normal old-timey British accent. Oh, come on, Terry, why wouldn't you just allow me to mess with the kid a little while longer? Anyway, to answer your question, I have a range of attire, from commoner clothing to that of a royal knight of the highest order. At the time which Terry informed me that he required assistance in taking down a corrupt order, I knew I must do it. For the United States of America. Man, this guy was so full of himself. Well then, are we ready to rock and roll? I asked with way too much confidence, considering I was the only human out of everyone here. Megami unexpectedly responded. Ah, the little mortal wants to play with the grown-ups. How precious. Chad spoke up in a rather expected surfer bro voice. Dude, I know that your wife was, killed by these guys, but I think you're totally just gonna hold us back. Then the doctor joined in with his jab in a British accent. I mean, his skin was pierced by Eric's gums. He's far too fragile for a mission like this. Everyone but Smudge, Terry, and Jeff were laughing. Even Abraham was practically rolling on the ground. After about a minute had passed and everyone was still laughing, I began to hear static in my ears as the lights began to flicker. I looked over at Terry and saw he had grown exponentially. He was 10 feet tall now, or about 3.3 meters. It appeared he had gotten much skinnier, and what I assumed to be all of his tentacles were sticking out of his back. Then he shouted in a much less human voice, Silence! Everything went back to normal, but he was still taller than before. He cleared his, I guess his throat. His voice was relatively normal now. Well, now that I have your attention, I would like to explain to all of you why exactly Joseph is coming with. Hold all questions till the end, he added once he saw Chad raise his hand. I know he's mortal. Why would we let him go in there with no protection? The answer is quite simple, really. We aren't. He'll be protected by some spare armor my good buddy Abraham brought. Right? He turned to Abraham, who proceeded to run outside to get what I assumed would be armor for me. This is really starting to feel like isekai. I also requested Jeff to get him a weapon. As he said that, Jeff handed me a box containing a few items. Now, I'm not a gun guy by any stretch of the imagination. I know how guns work, I've shot one a few times before, but I have no idea what kind of pistol it was. It wasn't a revolver, that's about all I know for sure. There's an additional 2 mags and a box of 30 rounds. Then, the pride and joy. All reliable, if you will. An 8-inch dagger. It's a truly beautiful blade. Terry continued. The weapons themselves are made of a silver alloy, made to repel paranormal creatures and entities. Abraham came back with the chainmail vest. Just a chainmail vest. No shield, no armor to protect my forearms, just a vest. Terry looked at him with a blank glare that could have only meant, "Really? That's it?" Then started again. "While this may not look like much, it should get him through the battle. Now would be a good time to ask questions if you still want to know anything." Chad immediately raised his hand. "I don't mean to be like that guy, but why is he getting this stuff to help us? So his wife died. Big deal. Why should we have to hold his hand through all this? It totally blows." Smudge answered him in a deep, spine-chilling voice.
Do you think your dumb remarks are useful in this current situation? He lost his wife due to a contract placed on her by a corrupt organization. He chose not to blame the killer, but the organization. In my eyes, that is all the reason he needs to fight alongside us.
Chad backed off after that. "Now, are there any other questions, or can we get ready now?" No one raised their hands. "All right then. I think it's about time we get started." Terry finished. I pulled Terry aside to talk to him. "Hey, so how exactly am I going to manage to keep up with all of you guys? This ain't exactly adding up for me. I get a chainmail vest and some silver weapons, and you expect me to actually be able to help?" He just looked at me and said, "If worse comes to worse, just use those karate lessons." He turned away, giving a nod like he was winking or something. Has he been reading my Reddit posts? I mean, I could ask how he can even look at his screen, but he watches TV and plays games, so I guess it makes sense. But when did Slendy become a Reddit user? Whatever. I had bigger issues than Terry reading my posts at the time. Like a giant paranormal battle that was about to go down, like some kind of supernatural turf war.